for starters, let me just go ahead and play this, and then we'll talk about exactly what happened last night.
My fellow Americans and autists who voted for Trump, it's your boy Dank Brandon here. I want to take a moment to congratulate the DNC on losing another election to Donald Trump. You replaced me with a candidate who has the same likability as Greasy, hobo-taint and expected to win, and they say I'm the retarded one. The Democrats said that I was too old, that I was too slow, that I was a joke. Well, here's a joke for you. What do Willie Brown and the 2024 presidential election have in common? Kamala Harris blew both of them. I shouldn't have said that. But seriously, I mean, first Hillary loses to Donald and now Kamala. This man has beaten more women than Doug Emhoff. Anyways, congrats on losing to Hitler again. I hope he locked you all up this time. Dank Brandon out.
Well, it was, in fact, a good night. Very good night. But then again, though, like I've been saying for the entire year, kind of sort of called it. I don't know who made that, but of course, I look up about 2 days before the election, and I see that Doug Emhoff has made a gaffe, which was, he said that she put her head down and went to work. And I immediately thought to myself, yeah, the memes from this particular election are going to be absolutely legendary. But of course, as you guys are seeing in the B-roll footage, there were some meltdowns. And of course, you guys are seeing one from Jink, which I'll play a small segment of right now. But I'll play more of a little bit later on this week, because this is not so much a reaction to what exactly happened last night and giving you guys my actual thoughts on it. There's also going to be a lot of videos coming out this week discussing what happens going on from here, or what's going to happen going from here. But of course, before we get started, make sure you guys, once again, please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share the video, please cut the notifications on. I'm going to link my election prediction video in the description box anyways for you guys to see. I wasn't that far off, it looks like. It looks like Trump will end up with about 312 electoral college votes. I did not post yesterday. I know some of you guys were voting, so I wanted to kind of leave you guys alone to kind of take care of that. And of course, I was up pretty much the entire night. I went to bed at right around 4 o'clock, and I got up roughly two or 3 hours ago. And of course, this video is going to be posted early in the afternoon. It's probably the only video, but I got a lot of things I got to catch up on too. But there's going to be a lot of content coming out over the course of the next few weeks, especially all the way up to Inauguration Day, because I do think things are going to get chaotic, and we will discuss that as well. But let's go ahead and get to the meltdown. So first, Jink.
As things stand, I just came off the Young Turks show, where I lit into the Democratic Party. Bunch of losers, corporate Democrats. I hate them. They've cost us election after election. They're corrupt. And they lost, it looks like, to a syphilitic clown, total moron, con man, Donald Trump. So, if you lose to a buffoon like Donald Trump twice, what does that make you?
Before I talk a little bit about Jink and all the stupid stuff he said, which is really only one thing out of that I really took as ultra stupid, even though everything he says is stupid. Of course, that's that bit about buffoons, but we'll talk about that in a second. This video right here, for the most part, if I didn't say it before, it's going to be, for the most part, just a reaction to the results themselves. We'll talk more about the other stuff that's been said and all the other ridiculous takes a little bit later on in the week, because obviously we've still got one particular news company that refuses to project the winner. And, of course, to go on top of that, we've also got the news outlets, and, of course, we've got to do all the reactions to what happened last night, because some of these reactions were actually quite surprising. Yes, I said they were quite surprising, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later on in the week. But this bit about buffoons. If you lose to a buffoon twice, what does that make you? I'm just asking, what does that make you? And by the way, we will be talking more about Jink later on this week, because we got to do a video on the future of the online left, which now I have a much more clarification on what direction to go, especially after last night. But still, though, to call somebody a buffoon that you lost to a buffoon twice, it says a lot more about you than it does us. I mean, if Donald Trump's a buffoon, what does that make Hillary? What does that make Kamala? I mean, just think on that. And then, of course, we've got Chris Hayes out here trying to give us reference to that thing he hates the most, which is the Electoral College.
The House, we're not going to know for weeks, but it's possible that Donald Trump and the Republicans will have a trifecta, as they did in 2016. Mm-hmm. In which case, the bulwark, against whatever overreach there could be, and whatever those depredations might be, and I think they're going to have a tendency to overreach if they do, is the kind of thing that's democracy between elections, which is the work of civil society, it's the work of the fourth estate, it's the work of institutions, it's the work of citizens. All that's super important stuff. We've seen it before.
Well, here are the results as of now, Chris. That right there was in reference to the Electoral College. And, of course, it looks like Donald Trump did not just win the Electoral College. It looks to me like even with the votes coming in from California, he would win the popular vote rather handily. It seems to me that what happened was exactly what I had said was going to happen. They had lost the nation. They had lost control of the nation. They had lost what appears to be any respect for themselves in the process too. But like I said, there are more meltdowns to come. As I'm speaking right now, MSNBC still refuses to call the election. Everybody has called the election pretty much, for the exception of MSDNC. I want to say that CNN finally did call it, but still, though, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I've not checked them this morning. I'm just going off of what happened last night when I went to sleep finally right around 4, which of course would have been this morning. But still, though, yeah, the tears from this, the liberal tears at this moment in time, they taste so very, very sweet. So where do we start? Well, there was this little bit that came out from MSDNC this morning. I just now caught and found on my Twitter page. And it doesn't help you out for future prospects if you choose to actually shame voters for voting a certain way.
People just don't care. Americans just don't think about the world. These are not the American voters of 30 or 40 years ago. This is a very transactional electorate. I'll vote for you. You give me stuff. Bring down the price of eggs and the price of gas, and you'll have my vote. And all the rest of this stuff, I just don't care. And I had
that bit in that chart there about democracy. We'll touch on that towards the end of the video, so make sure you guys stick around. That is 100% correct. We would much rather take care of ourselves, as in we would much rather, I don't know, have lower gas prices, have the ability to pay for food. Of course, not only be able to pay for our food, have the prices lowered, but also at the same time, the safety and security of our own nation, the actual border itself. Now, it is true that Republicans underperformed last night in the House of Representatives. Democrats may have actually taken it back slightly. It wouldn't be by a whole lot if they did. And, of course, Republicans did win the Senate back. Of course, it looks like they're going to roughly have 53 seats this moment in time. But still, though, you have a few races that are outstanding, meaning that there's probably going to be some legal challenges. It's probably going to get a little bit chaotic going into Election Day. But I find it very hard that these people are going to be able to try to undo what is, or what's that phrase? I've been unburdened by what has been. Yeah, I find them having a hard time being able to undo the presidential side of things, because Trump did, in fact, win, it looks like, the popular vote as well. But still, though, at the same time, and I know I'm saying though a lot, bear with me, I just now starting to get my throat back this morning. It was kind of a, let's just say that, yeah, there was a lot of celebration going on in this house. And then to go on top of that, I also, the past couple of days, with the stuff around my eyes because of what happened on Sunday. But the point is this right here. It looks to me like the people said, look, we care about our own country at this moment in time more so than we do everybody else. I mean, you got money going to Ukraine. You've got money going to the Middle East. You've got all this crap going on across the world. And I think people have just had enough of it. They were just fed up tired of it, as I've been saying before. And, of course, Republicans, or at least Donald Trump, he was able to pull off a win as a result. But still, though, some people are looking at the strategy that Donald Trump used, which, of course, people are knocking as the bro strategy.
Aaron was out here and he said, in fact, not only did the bro strategy work, and the bro strategy largely worked along the lines of white men, but that the bro strategy also had some impact in terms of Latino and black men who came along and gave higher percentages.
All right, Carl, weigh in.
I just want to make one more point with one. I spoke to Jack Brewer this week, and here's what he said if Trump wins. He said he won because black men felt that Democrats and elites put immigrants.
Black men in Georgia, roughly 25% was the exit poll, went to Donald Trump. There was also another exit poll that revealed that Donald Trump was actually winning Hispanics. I want to say in the state of Wisconsin by 10%. Why would this right here be the case? Well, men said no. They said, we're going to take back our country. This right here was, in fact, for the most part, a bro election. And I did tell you guys that the whole abortion issue was not going to drive women out the way they thought it was going to drive women out. However, here's the thing that you got to understand about that strategy. The women that did vote, they voted based upon their wallets, their pocketbooks, whatever you might want to call it. They voted based on their current financial situation. I can tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, what I saw at the college campuses when I went to the Trump rally here where I live at, and of course the rally on Sunday, yeah, women were going to come out and vote for him in a much, much higher clip than they would be her, because she's the type of woman that gives women a bad name. No woman, no self-respecting woman wants a woman in charge who slept her way to her positions. That right there is just the truth about Kamala Harris, as Joe pointed out at the very beginning, which of course we all know was a fraud and we all know was fake, but still quite funny. And of course there was also this little bit right here with Jill Biden when she went to go vote. It makes you wonder if the Bidens themselves did not vote for Trump this election. Nevertheless, this right here was an election where men showed up, showed out, and they, for the most part, took back the country. But then that leaves the question of what happens next. Well, a recently released Steve Bannon, he was on fire last night on Real America's Voice News, of course, celebrating the Trump victory. Let me go ahead and play this for you guys, and we'll come back on the other end, and I'll give you my assessment on it.
The 2020 election, you've mocked and ridiculed and put people in prison and broken people's lives because you said this thing was stolen. This entire phony thing is getting swept out. Biden's getting swept out. Kamala Harris is getting swept out. MSNBC is getting swept out. The Justice Department's getting swept out. The FBI is getting swept out. You people suck. Okay, and now you're going to pay the price for trying to destroy this country. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to get to the bottom of where are the 600,000 votes. You manufactured them to steal this election for President Trump in 2020. And think where this country would be if we hadn't gone through the last 4 years of your madness. Okay? You don't deserve any respect, you don't deserve any empathy, and you don't deserve any pity. And if anybody gives it to you, it's Donald J. Trump, because he's got a big heart and he's a good man. A good man that you're still going to try to put in prison on the 26th of this month. This is how much you people suck, okay? You've just tried to destroy his business thing, and he came back. He came back in the greatest show of political courage, I think, in world history. Like Cincinnatus coming back from the plow. He's the American Cincinnatus. And what he has done is a profiling courage. We've had his back, but I got to tell you, he may be empathetic. He may have a kind heart. He may be a good man, but we're not, okay? And you deserve, as Natalie Winters says, not retribution, justice. But you deserve what we call rough Roman justice, and we're prepared to give it to you.
Everything that Steve Bannon is saying is exactly what we want. However, I want to pump the brakes on the whole justice thing, and the reason why is this. While it is true that Republicans will have control of the Senate, it doesn't look at this moment in time like they'll have control of the House. Now, it's possible this right here could change. It's also possible that these people could do something going into that day, of which, by the way, they ultimately end up certifying everything that could cost them long term. Still, though, at the same time, it is a little bit wishful thinking at this moment in time, but I do pray that what Steve Bannon said does eventually come true. We do need justice for all the corruption that's going on. We do need justice for everything that has happened, especially given what this administration has put conservatives through for the past 4 years. But for the moment in time, I'll digress. But you know, this right here was a humiliating defeat, and it was a humiliating defeat for a multitude of reasons. Van Jones, there was his little speech last night, which I would play for you guys, but I might save for tomorrow's video, because he talked about the fact that a lot of women out there, black women in particular, are going to be waking up this morning feeling awful because Kamala Harris did not get elected, even though some black women voted for Donald Trump. I just got to get, all I have to say is this right here. Donald J. Trump is the only man alive to win an argument against a woman. Twice. It just goes to show you that the American people do not like this whole feminization of the country itself. Even women themselves don't like it. If they actually liked it, if they actually enjoyed the fact of feminization of the nation, they would have shown up in much, much higher numbers to vote for her. But of course, like I said, we're still waiting on the official numbers. And I want to give it myself at least another day for me to actually look at the overall numbers and not just the exit polls, because the exit polls tend to be off just a little bit. Also, something else, too, a very quick note. I did not mention this right before. That whole democracy bit, MSNBC, 35%. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Trump was actually polling at about 50% in that category, meaning that Donald Trump was actually seen to be less of a threat to democracy. So good job, guys. But Harris, she chose not to give a speech last night. She chose not to concede last night, and I personally don't think that she will, at least for the next day or so. However, like I said before, I want to wait for some more of the reactions to go on in before I give you guys a much, much more detailed analysis, which will probably be coming out on Thursday or Friday. The content's probably going to pick up again. Just bear with me real quick. It's been kind of a, let's say the past couple of days, doctor's appointments, stuff like that. It's kind of left me less time to be able to do what it is that I enjoy doing, which of course is giving you guys information and telling you guys what's going on. Also, not to mention the fact there's also going to be a video coming out here soon where I talk about the content going forward, because what I decided to do is just split this channel right here into two, then have Gear Issue 33, and of course there would be 3 channels total. What we're going to do is we're going to go in the direction of daily content, history, and then of course the video essays on my more military-related channel. So make sure you guys stick around for all of that. Still in the meantime, though, guys, celebrate, have fun with the day. Trump won. Make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.